Doc talked a lot tonight about towing the line, being aggressive, and maybe too aggressive and whatnot. How do you think that factored into holding off the comeback at several points by them this evening?
You mean like us being too aggressive, like fouling?
Towing the line, not being overly aggressive at points,
Defensively?
but still being aggressive on both ends, really.
I mean, I think in a game like this, obviously we want to get the tiebreaker, and a team that we've played so many times over the last 2 seasons, it's going to be a physical game. It's going to be a competitive game, and I think what he probably meant was, you don't want to come out here being passive. You want to be assertive and play a physical game and an aggressive game, but you don't want to do it to a fault, where it can be used against you. They living at the free throw line, you're getting turnovers and kind of hurting yourself. But I thought tonight we definitely had the aggressive mentality on both sides of the ball, and I think it worked in our favor at times. Like he said, you got to kind of toe that line and understand what's happening. A few times we got caught with contact. Giannis fouled out. But we was able to pull it out, so that's what really counts.
The Pacers they're just gonna keep running. Like if you get up 15, they're still gonna do the exact same thing after you're up 15. What kind of discipline does it kind of require from you guys to keep attacking and keep scoring and keep doing what you need to do defensively in transition?
You just gotta exactly what you said. You just gotta be disciplined. I think a team that is constantly playing at a fast pace. They constantly attacking. They got some shooting. They got a couple guys that when they're making shots, they're a different team. When we just played them in Indiana, a lot of those shots weren't falling. And, we still ended up, even though we didn't shoot great, had a chance to win the game, and we didn't. But tonight, a lot of those shots were falling. They were hitting threes. They were getting it from different guys. But you got to know that it's gonna be from start to finish with them. They're gonna keep playing at that pace. They're gonna keep attacking. And I thought tonight, even when we were up 17-20 late in the game, I've seen them play a lot, and because they just keep going. Sometimes when it's really back against the wall and nothing to lose, it's like, all right, we down 20. Is 7 minutes left. Let's just attack. And you get a couple whistles, you see a couple threes go in, and you end up in that situation a lot of times in the NBA, and it's just about being able to weather that storm and come out with a win, and we did tonight.
Doc said that he's really enjoyed the pairing of you and Scoot, like you two together. But he also said, like, we don't have a lot of practice time, so we're not really putting in a ton of sets. They're kind of figuring it out on the fly. Yeah. What have you liked about that setup and getting to play with him as opposed to kind of just taking in and out for each other?
I think my favorite thing about it is just being able to play off the ball. And, every year in my career, from my first year to last year when we got Pat Bev, a little bit with campaign earlier in the year, but mostly with Pat Bev. Every year in my career, I've enjoyed not having to bring the ball up. I think a lot of teams, they want to pick me up full court and try to wear me out, and I'm starting in front of the defense all the time so they can execute whatever their scouting report is. So I've always loved playing with another guy that could initiate the offense, and it doesn't even have to be a play for me, but I'm just the guy that's behind the defense or on the weak side of the defense, and I can, attack closeouts and be that guy that after the play is made, then I'm on the guy getting the catch and shoot opportunity. You're not having to use as much energy, so you stay more fresh throughout the game. And then, knowing that he could go make it happen, he can make a play, he can score, and we can be comfortable with that. So I think for me that's been my biggest joy in that is just being able to play off the ball and not be on the ball so much. So I definitely think that's going to be a weapon for us, especially in the playoffs when I don't have to handle the ball so much.
This Pacers team is always going to deny you the ball, try to keep it out of your hands for the first, 8 seconds of the possession, whatever it might be. It felt like tonight you were a little bit more aggressive on that first catch, like, all right, if I got space, it's going up. Yeah. Was that a conscious effort from you? And then also just kind of how do you deal with that, right? Like that's going to be their thing. They're not the only team that does it, but they do it to you a lot.
I think you just got to be patient. In a situation like that, you got to understand when they're putting themselves at a disadvantage. You know, like sometimes if Giannis is taking the ball out, they're not going to use one guy. They're going to put whoever the guy is inbounding the ball, he's going to be on one side, and then my man is going to be on the other side. So with that, you know, I'm trying to get a catch, or you get Brook to flash and get a catch, and now you got Giannis pushing the ball up the court, and his man is kind of out of position. And you try to break them down that way, or, you know, Kuz get it and bring it, and we just kind of initiate our offense that way. And now the way that they play, you know, they load up on Giannis. They trying to protect the paint. And now when he's coming off, I'm that guy that he's advancing the ball to, so I get an opportunity to make a play off the catch, like I said, or get catch and shoot opportunities because they're committed to that type of defense. So I think for me it's just you got to play a smarter game. You got to be patient and just understand where the opportunities are going to come from, and trust that they're going to come. And I think they did tonight.
Dame, in wins like this, what would you say is the biggest difference maker? Like, if there's something that you could pinpoint, is there something that you would say this is what made the biggest difference in how we were able to play this full 48?
I think the biggest difference was just our second unit. I think each stint that they had, first half and the second half, they dominated those minutes. And, you know, a team like this where you got guys like T.J. McConnell and Ben Mathurin, Obi Toppin, you know, those guys come in off the bench and they impact the game. You know, I think that's one of the biggest strengths of this team is they come off that bench, they play fast, they do what they do every night, and if you're not ready for it, they can really have an impact on the game. And I thought tonight, our second group, you know, we dominated that time. We dominated those minutes in the first half. That's when we kind of grew our lead. And then in the second half, we had another stretch against the second group where we dominated those minutes. And ultimately, I think our bench playing well in those stretches is what won us the game.
And then for tomorrow night, what from tonight do you feel needs to roll over to have success against the Thunder specifically?
I think the urgency. You know, I think tonight we just came in sharp. You know, we knew what we needed to do. We let one slip the other night in Indiana, and we knew we needed to get this one for the tiebreaker. We knew that it would be a playoff type of feel, you know, just because of how many times we've seen this team, how close we are in the standings. And I think tomorrow we got to have that same urgency. I think our ball movement, how we sharing the ball and trusting each other is what we're going to have some carryover tomorrow night, because they play a physical style defensively. They're a really sharp defensive team. They help each other. You know, they defend on the perimeter. So, you know, knowing that they're going to be loading up and that they guard well, we got to pick them apart by attacking and then trusting the pass and trusting each other. And I think if we play that way, you know, we'll have success against anybody because of our shooting.